Okay, hello, hello. Is my internet going nutso? Going nutso. I don't think I've ever said that in my life.
Hey, I just heard you right now.
Oh, hey, hey. Sorry about that. I was away from my controller, and then I came back. I didn't see, I didn't see your text, and I start up EFAP. I was at the part where they were just basically arguing, maybe not arguing, but having sort of a kind of heated discussion on the definition of what a story is, and
Jesus.
I kind of wanted to, have that play out, which is when an argument involving Fringy, Rags, and Shadversity, then that can take a while. But
I'm
I
gonna
just,
side with Shad every time because he's actually written books, and Rags and Fringy are just YouTubers.
yeah, he has a little more skins on the wall, and so I would definitely defer to him in most situations. But yeah, I think they were just kind of talking semantics for the most part, where uh, Mahler, Fringy, and Rags were, which I know that they do a podcast together, but they agree a lot of the times, like even on just like even minute details. But anywho, um, they kind of created this, triangular force field, like, and they were just going off what the most basic, bare bones definition of what a story is, basically a retelling of a sequence of events, which is true, which is true.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't make a good story, and I think that's kind of what kind of gets lost in all this discussion. I didn't finish it. I just had to stop it. But like Shad and Er and Adam were all trying to they were trying to debate the fact that that stories need to be instilled in with some sort of conflict to create an entertainment value. Not it's not always essential. Not every story is contingent on having conflict to be entertaining, but it definitely, most stories do have, you know, something that goes, some obstacle that a main character or whoever needs to overcome, and that's what makes a lot of them memorable.
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely side. Like I said, I would definitely side with Shad and Er, because I love those guys, especially Er.
Yeah, you're very simpatico with him in a lot of things. Uh,
And not all the things. I mean, he'll tweet some stuff where I'm not so sure of. I mean, he's very um, there's some issues where he has a clear defined line in the sand, which I respect. Um, but it's usually he's usually pretty more obstinate about that kind of stuff when it involves IPs that he particularly loves and enjoys. I've noticed, which again, it's you kind of you do figure that people are very protective of things they love and enjoy.
in terms of like Winnie Fap is a they're not often, but when they're a united front, all three they're an impenetrable wall of like stubbornness.
Hmm.
Most of the fights, 99% of fights since Fringy joined in the early 20s, most of the fights are between Fringy and Rex. And then it's like a fight for Mauler's attention, basically, because he's the leader, he's the alpha, or whatever, weird thing you want to put in this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it definitely. Those are definitely the best fights too, when it's just the two of them against each other. Because it's usually something dumb, like, what's the difference between a wizard and a witch, or is water wet, or some dumb shit like that. That's usually pretty fun. But yeah, this issue in particular, it's one of those instances where Rags and Fringy they feel like the attack dogs for Mauler. Like Mahler's just kind of like he doesn't talk for quite a bit of the discussion, like almost 10, like 5 or 6, 7 minutes, something like that, and then he finally inputs after Rags and Fringy have just kind of, taken a few punches in his stead or something. I don't know. I'm sure it's not like a calculated a tactic on their part or anything like that. It's probably just coincidence, but yeah, I don't know. They just kind of feel like the vanguard in some issues.
Now, when there's like external parties who are not on EFAP, like that retard, what's his name, Organized Chaos, or other stupid fuckers come at them, they're absolutely united front. It's like, oh, somebody made a stupid video about Rags. Well, all three of them are gonna, they're gonna defend Rags. Regardless. It's like, oh, somebody else made a shitty video about Critical Drinker. Okay, they're gonna stay united in this.
Yeah.
They're friends
Well,
and they believe in each other's positions.
Yeah, that's understandable. They're friends, they're homies. You stick by them whether or not you think they're right or not. I would do the same for you. You don't think I would? You don't think
I don't expect you to, see? I don't need you to. I don't expect you to. It's nice that you do, if you do.
Listen, 99.9% of the fights, quote unquote, you get into are not worth me throwing my hat in the ring. Let's put it that way.
Yes, but I get a sick pleasure out of it. You know it.
Sometimes I've made you don't just quit your job just so you have more time to interact with them.
Motherfucker. Today I was doing some shit and it's like, okay, scan thing, file, email, tweet, scan, file, email, tweet. I was like, choo. This is the busiest day I've had in I don't fucking know how long.
Oh, was it all day just scanning and emailing and all that?
No, all day tweeting.
Oh, all day tweet. Oh, busiest tweeting day. I thought you meant busiest day of actual working.
No, I did a little bit of work, but no,
okay.
This
all right.
some bitch is blowing up.
Okay. Before I forget, I am actually recording this while I'm playing this, which I didn't.
Excellent.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't know you were joining. I was just joining. I was just recording this so I could put it on my channel later.
I checked and you weren't streaming.
No, I wasn't, because I thought maybe you might show up, and I thought, well, a recording might be better in that case. That way, it's just on my hard drive, and if you didn't, if you weren't comfortable with me, doing something with it, posting it or whatever, then I could easily delete it. So.
No joke, I was going to use a slur earlier, and I veered away at the last possible second.
Well, I'm proud of you. What was the slur? Or maybe I should ask what the context was.
I'm not going to try to trick me. It's sometimes a word I use instead of dude.
Is it a word?
I'm allowed to say it, and you're not. That word.
Oh, I see. Oh, that kind of dude. Oh, okay.
Lovely fellow.
I can't say it, but I can type it, as long as I put some asterisk or ampersands and substitute some of the letters.
Don Lemon holds a sign that says, does this offend you?
No, not me, but there's plenty of them out there that would not like that if I start throwing out that word.
The hell are we talking about? Oh, more Mortal Kombat leaks.
Oh, more leaks? Okay, alright.
It's a freaking week away, and there's still copyright striking people who are like, hey, look, the game.
Yeah, at this point, it feels like, well, what's the point? Gonna be out in no time anyways.
It's on them for not showing us this. I said this the other day, but I genuinely think this is the worst non-Square Enix marketing I've seen in years.
Yeah, everything has seemed very reactionary by NetherRealm's part. And, a lot of that is their fault. Or, some of it's not. Some of the idiots, like the online distributors leaking the info. What was it? Amazon Germany or something like that?
The original,
Initial
I believe, was Italy.
Italy. That's right. Yeah, I think they were the ones that leaked the list for the DLC characters and whatnot. Like, and NetherRealm didn't have to respond that, showing a trailer of all the DLC Pack 1 and whatnot. They could have just let that still be a surprise and just let people speculate, because they're going to do that anyways.
The image of the character roster leaked, and then, oh, well, what do you know? An Antara thing we had ready to go. Well, why didn't you just show it then before?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely think that they're hearing about it real time, or they know about it beforehand if a leak is going to occur. So they just tell their marketing team, okay, just slap something together and just take something from that, dumb, mind-numbing interview we had with Megan Fox.
The entire game is because of a leak. And of course, Mortal Kombat 12 coming later this year, says David Zaslav. I'll never ever forget this. The Suicide Squad. Kill the Justice League.
Oh, I had to raise him up a little higher. Okay. Sorry, fooling something in game here. Yeah, was that an awards ceremony that he made that?
Earnings call.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
He's like, we're gonna lose a shitload of money in the movies, but we might make some in video games. And then one of the video games gets delayed till next year. So like, well, we gotta throw it all behind Mortal Kombat, I guess.
Uh, even if both Suicide Squad and Mortal Kombat sold well, which I'm sure Mortal Kombat will sell well, but still not sure. Not Don't know about Suicide Squad. I'll have to wait and see, how things look when they rework the combat.
Yes. I was gonna play it no matter what. I don't give a damn. But yeah, there so many people who saw the initial thing and say no thanks. I say this a ton, but like people see the headlines, they don't see the corrections. To use an old school newspaper thing. They see the outrage bait, but they don't see the follow up. It said, actually, this is a fake. Didn't really happen. They see the initial thing, and that's what they remember.
Yeah, I just remember watching that initial trailer and thinking, wow, this is way too much like Fortnite.
Yes.
I don't think this really doesn't really fit with these characters in this universe with their power, and it doesn't seem like a good use or good application of their powers. But if anything, now that I know that they're going to change things, I'm probably more interested in playing it now. Of course, unless they make it faster and they can jump higher and shit like that.
What could, like, let's say you and I are been hired in this boardroom. It's like, okay, we're screwed. Please help us fix this. They'll be like, we can't say scrap it and start over. So what can be fixed? I say, and this is going to add to the development time, more characters. You're like, oh no, Fortnitification. It's like, no. The Suicide Squad, and it's got 4 members? No. This is a big group.
As long as the designers that came up with the original concept aren't working on them, yeah, great, because they've already proven that they don't understand the characters or how well to use their powers. And I think it's just the scale was too large for a group like the Suicide Squad, which, they got some powerful people with, interesting abilities, and they can do some damage, but they're not really equipped or made for large-scale battles, like was shown in the trailer.
Like was shown in the movie, in the first friggin' scene of the movie.
Yeah, but at least in the movie, Margot Robbie's not jumping, over skyscrapers and shit and whatnot. They're basically they're the best at what what they were assembled for, why the squad was created, and that is clandestine missions off the books that are under the radar, coordinated either by Flag or Wallace or both or whatnot. Not huge firefights with Brainiac's armies in the middle of Metropolis. If it was something akin to like Guardians of the Galaxy, and I know they were big galaxy shaking stakes in that game.
Yeah, but it built up.
Exactly, yeah. If it just built up, if this new Suicide Squad would just, it would be if it started as the Suicide Squad trying to figure out or learn how the Justice League got brainwashed, trying to figure out a way how to snap them out of the brainwashing, all while trying to avoid detection by Brainiac's forces. That could be pretty fun and interesting.
But the game's called Kill the Justice League, and I'll be damned if I don't kill at least one of them.
I don't think any of them are gonna die.
But it's called Kill the Justice League.
Now that doesn't mean one of them couldn't die, but like I think Wonder Woman, as far as we've seen in the trailer, she's not under control, is she?
I think she's acting like her own accord.
Yeah. Yeah, no, say if she was trying to save her fellow Justice Leaguers and sacrificed herself and died, then that would be pretty fitting with her as a character. So I'd be okay with that. But
I wouldn't be if we want to make a new Wonder Woman game. There's new art for that.
Is that still in the works? Completely.
As far as I'm aware, I have not heard any news. I saw some Twitter guy had like his profile banner changed, and he's an official artist at Warner Brothers, and it's like there's some background, Wonder Woman's there with some Amazonian, I think like a lady soldier or lady cop, and I'm like, yeah, of course.
I completely forgot that was being worked on.
I have more faith in those two games from DC than I do Vampire Masquerade.
Well, I kind of want to. I'm curious on why, because from what I've heard, it's going to be a complete redo, and they're just scrapping everything, which seems really odd since last time I heard they had like 80% of the game done or something like that, and so they're just going to scrap all of that. Now that it's a different studio,
but it's the worst news possible. The last time I heard news this bad was Metroid Prime 4. They said they got really, really far, and Nintendo said, no, we hate this, let's start over. And they took Retro Studios off it. Now, in that time, they've managed to release a brand new Metroid game in Dread and a remaster of Prime. But they can't get Prime 4 off the ground at all. So it has happened before, of companies just straight up starting over, but that doesn't typically work.
At least Nintendo has at least they have deep enough pockets where, they can survive that, but... And I guess Paradox would be fine, but... I wouldn't... It must have been really bad for them to just say, okay, just throw it all out. Baby, dish, bathwater, all that shit. Get it out.
They Batgirled it.
Yeah, pretty much. Sounds like. Which is a double shame because from what I saw in the really early gameplay trailers, I saw some promising signs of the next game. I kind of like the animations and the traversal, and it seems like it had a lot of the same sort of dialogue, choices and variety.
It kept, we say this a lot in media, but it kept the spirit of the thing, right? The soul of the identity was there. It's like, yeah, this is exactly what the old game was like, what it tried to accomplish. The attitude, the styling.
Yeah. Yeah, atmosphere, all that. Yeah, but I don't know. There was obviously there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that made him made him say, okay, it's just better if we just start with a clean slate.
And in that time, 3 Vampire Masquerade games have come out that so-so Swan Song won. A free-to-play battle royale, which I think is being shut down, and a virtual reality one that has yet to come out very soon. Oh, and of
Yeah,
course, those visual novels.
yeah, yeah. And Swan Song is one of those is one of the perfect examples of a game needs decent gameplay in order to be qualified, or entertaining as a game.
A game needs budget and time. You give that game $1 million more and 5 more months, I think it'll be really, really good.
Maybe make it 3 million.
You know I love me some shitty games. And I was like, there's something in here, man. There's some good here.
Oh, of course, I saw it too, but that level of jank for a 2022
Yes.
game, it's like, I mean, because I played Jade Empire last year for the first time, and that game, even for back then, would have been jank as fuck. But it was great, and I had, had a fun time with it. Not so much with the, gameplay aspect of it, but everything else was, it was good enough. And I understood, okay, this is a 2004 game, so I need to temper my expectations and not judge it too harshly.
R.I.P. BioWare.
Yeah, and in fairness to, I've already actually forgotten who developed Swan Song.
Oh, I have it. Hold on. Let me go see. Where did I put it? Nacon.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Now, in
Big
fairness,
Giant Wolf and Cyanide Studios.
yeah, and say in fairness to them, they it seemed like they designed the gameplay to be kind of the bare minimum, of what you can do. It's basically just walking, pressing some buttons to activate powers, and that's about it.
I've played like 30, well, not 30, like 20 Nacon games. This is kind of their area. They're like they're experts in AA, like spiders. They who make Greedfall and other stuff. Like they're experts in the AA games. Unfortunately, they charge AAA prices.
Yeah, that's not so fun.
There are a lot of really good AA games out there that people don't give chances to because they charge $60, $70.
Yeah.
And today I was playing I think it doesn't qualify, unfortunately, because it came out last year. My indie game of the year, Proteus. That game's incredible. The more I'm playing it, the more I'm enjoying it. Fully recommend. I'm gonna buy that one straight up because it was on Game Pass.
Is it on sale on PlayStation?
I don't know that it's on sale. It's available to buy. I don't know how much it is.
Oh well, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
I didn't know if it was still like early access or beta or whatever, but
It came out digitally last year and physically a couple weeks ago, apparently. Because you just glance at it and you're like, oh, old Doom wad, whatever,
yeah.
Typical, pixel graphics. But then you can fuck with the graphics a little bit to make it 3D models, and it's designed very, very well.
Wasn't there a kind of a pixelated Doom style retro game set in Warhammer that came out earlier this year? Bolt Gun, I think it was called.
Bolt Gunner. Yeah, I didn't like that at all. That one you look at a glance, it's like, no. Especially on PC, like the quote-unquote boomer shooters have kind of exploded. and they're called out because, oh, hey, remember the '90s? And I usually hate that kind of shit.
Mm.
And
Although,
I was all set to
yeah.
not like Proteus. That's why I was on Game Pass, and I was like, oh, I could do a few quests. I don't have to worry too hard about it. And I was like, oh fuck, this is good.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played Bolt Gun or anything like that. I, looked at the screenshots, a few trailers and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, it looked interesting, but it seemed to, it seemed to lean a little too heavily into that retro style,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is kind of, my personal kind of gripe with these, a lot of those retro, these double A indie retro games where they just, it's like they know people are going to be playing on big screen 4K 1080p monitors. So like, okay, we still need to we need to downgrade. Make the models really pixelated to sort of compensate for these high def TVs. I don't know. That's kind of just my impression. Because that was my that was one of the few things I didn't like about the first Octopath Traveler is that the character models were just I think they were too blocky. They were very few pixels. I could hardly I could tell who the characters were, but they just for the new style of HD 3D game, I just didn't think it was that great, and they improved it in the second one, and they put more detail in the character models, and they looked really good. They didn't overdo them. They they wanted to stay true to the style of game, but I think they also heard the feedback saying, yeah, just a little more detail in those character models would be great, and it looks appreciably better.
A lot of it is marketing. It's like, hey, like you're old now. You remember what games used to be like? I was like, yes, I do. They sucked. I'm glad games look better now. Like, because they also re-released Quake 1 and 2. And those are just like texture upgrades, but they're the same old ass games. Like, nope, these do not hold up. It's the playing, like, I love Proteus because it plays great. Not because it reminds me of old Doom. It reminds me of Doom 2016.
And by plays great, you mean plays like a modern game.
Yes.
Yeah. See, I don't know if that's always a good thing. I mean, I agree with you that a lot of the older games, you go back and there's, we've discussed this before about they just didn't. A lot of the there wasn't a kind of a universal understanding for a lot of control schemes for certain types of genres. So, most developers were just kind of mapping the controls, with what they, whatever system they were designing for, uh, what they thought would fit with their type of game. But now, since FPSs or what, like one example of FPSs, they seem to have a general understanding. Okay, right trigger to shoot, left trigger to aim, sprint. Still sometimes up for some developers mix it up, but it's usually clicking on the left stick. But I'll tell you one old game I didn't play back then when it first came out, and I played it, a few years ago, and the controls almost made me put it down. Was Shadow of the Colossus? My goodness, the controls in that game are terrible.
I'm very glad to hear this as someone who doesn't like artsy fartsy games.
Yeah. And it was a fun game, and the fights were memorable, and the art styles and the atmosphere was, really, really engaging. It's very haunting, and everything. You felt like even though you're on you're this hero on this massive journey, and you're technically succeeding in your quest, and I don't know, maybe it's some hindsight because I know how it ends. I knew how the game ended years ago, but there's still this sense of, I don't want to say dread, but sort of inevitability with the outcome, and it didn't seem like you were, improving things. But yeah, once was enough for me, and Shadow of the Colossus.
We talked about this, but I'm gonna say it again. I fucking hate games who are like, hey, maybe you're the bad guy. And Shadow of the Colossus was one of the first, and then Far Cry and Last of Us took it and ran with it.
I don't think that was the. I don't think it was the point of it. It was there was no malice in the hero's intentions. I mean, he was very pure. It was heroic. Even his the woman he loved was put in this deep sleep, and this voice said, "Hey, do this, kill these big colossus, and you'll be able to save her."
Hell yeah,
And
brother, let's do it.
and yeah, I mean, I think I think that would be a lot of heroes' reactions, but then it's the twist that they have where, oh no, the voice that you heard was evil, and it's kind of tragic. And although if anything, you would say that the hero is way too trusting of voices, disembodied voices giving him advice.
Oh, I went the wrong damned way. We're over here.
See, in Far Cry, I thought it was so fucking bullshit that they try to rub that in my face. In the one that stands out to
Over
me
and
was
over.
Far Cry 4. Was okay. So you liked my mom, you had a kid, and my dad was an asshole, killed my mom, and the kid died. I think that's what happened. Can't remember exactly. I mean, what does that have to do with you, pagan men? The atrocities that you have committed and the people that you've slayed and murdered, enslaved and murder. I fucking saved this country. I am the hero. Uh what was the protag's name? Jay? Something uh in four.
RJ Gale.
Jay,
RJ Gale.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was Jay Galley, and like he is the hero. He is the hero of the story, and he saves everybody. And then whatever faction you side with decide to fuck things up, anyways. But that's not Jay. I mean, that's not Jay's fault. He did everything right, in my opinion.
AJ, you racist.
Ah,
AJHY.
Jay.
AJ.
He was AJ, not DJ.
He was the last guy to have a voice before Danny Rojas in all her many cutscenes. I think actually, no, I disagree with you on 4 being the worst, specifically because you didn't play 5, but because of 5.
Yeah,
Ajay
out of
had
the
a
games I
voice of,
played, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Ajay had a voice and he had displeasure and he disagreed with everything that was going on. You still did it because, narrative dissonance of Nico Bellic kills people and then laments about killing people.
Hmm.
But in 5 and New Dawn, you had no voice. You were not a voice person. You were a passive idiot who just let shit happen. And meanwhile, the villain is still telling you, actually, you're the bad guy. And that was the point of, like, I'm so beyond done with the narrative of this Far Cry games.
Yeah. Yeah, and
And that's
I
not
haven't,
really the
yeah.
case in 6.
I haven't played it in about a month or so. I
That's fine.
didn't really get too far into it. Am I missing something here?
I will defend some of Far Cry 6, just not its DLC. That can jump up the butt.
Does that include the Stranger Thing missions?
If I had ever seen a second of Stranger Things, maybe I would have enjoyed that.
Uh, I just saw the first season and I was just kind of like, "Yep, that's that Dream Eater, whatever that thing's called. I can't remember the name
Yeah,
of it."
I too remember VH1's I Love the 80s.
uh, This is some bullshit, man. This fucking game. I guess I'm supposed to go backwards. That's the only... Well, no. See, I'm gonna fall here. Alright, maybe I can make it here. Okay.
A day later, I still don't like Megan Fox or her dumb hat.
Stupid fuzzy pink hat.
And now, if that's an in-game cosmetic, you know, maybe. Put it on Astra.
Oh, it will. It may be, but it'd be just for Natara.
Yeah, some people are complaining, like, this is... You know, Katana's really close, but this is probably the best looking one I've seen in this game so far.
Mm-hmm.
But people are like, oh, she's got a weird top of her head, like she's wearing a hat, like she's got some sort of like Hershey's Kisses head. It comes to a strange point. And I'm like, what are y'all talking about?
I think that's her hair. I think it's just styled that
I
way.
think so too.
Yeah.
Made it to the underdwelling. No sign of Thaddeus yet, or the Elori.
Yeah. Her and Katana are the best looking girls in the game. And Sindel is nice looking, but she doesn't look like Sindel. I mean, if it wasn't for the Bride of Frankenstein hair coloring, then I wouldn't be able to know it was her.
Oh, it's Lee May again.
Yeah.
Oh, there was customization stuff. Because it's copyrighted by Warner Brothers, people are like posting it and then immediately deleting it, you know, like minutes later, so they don't get clipped.
Yeah, I don't think I ever asked what was
show you.
in the leaks.
So I can't show you anything. But there was a tab for like you go to each individual character, and it's very similar to 11, where you change their gear, change victory pose, taunt, shit like that. They didn't open those menus, so I don't know how much gear you can change. If it's 3 pieces, if it's 1 piece. They did show variations of all the male ninjas unmasked, so there you go.
Is there a link you can provide me, or?
No, they took it down.
Oh,
Warner
okay.
Brothers is hitting with a vengeance here. The people I usually get from Addict, Dynasty, Tiny, they're all getting hit. Warner Brothers is issuing random copyright takedowns requests on unrelated stuff because of pictures of trailers leaked. Literally 1 week. They've also asked Twitter to delete accounts from the Tiny, who's a really big Mortal Kombat poster here. Which is, really great marketing. Yeah, fuck it. F-R-U...
Media not displayed. Well, yeah,
doing
I figured.
Mortal Kombat. Going after people promoting your game because you won't. Make sure I spelled everything right.
Got a spell check.
My keyboard is dying. I desperately when I type the word that, T-H-A-T, what will pop up on screen is H-T-A-T.
Did some of the keys not work? That's what happened to me on mine.
No, they all work. I just think they're like blending together. There's like some sort of macro error. I don't know.
Hmm. Is that the hot bat chick? Jeez.
Son of a bitch. He went protected. The Tiny, the guy who I've gotten all my Mortal Kombat leaks from.
Coward.
I don't. No, he literally. I can't show you. He literally has a picture here of Mortal Kombat developers and moderators asking Twitter to delete the Tiny's account.
Just because he leaked some stuff?
People are sending him things because he's a bigger account and he's posting screenshots of it. He doesn't actually even have the
Oh,
game because he's in
oh,
Australia or some shit.
oh. So they're trying to just cut it off altogether.
Yes.
Hmm.
All because after a bloody week they won't show anything from their own stupid fucking game. They might hit Dynasty too, another big guy in Mortal Kombat space. Although perhaps it is showing the Switch fatalities, and Mortal Kombat 1 does not look good on Switch.
No surprise there.
Neither does the Jean-Claude Van Damme skin on Johnny's character model.
Honestly, I don't think that looks anything like Jean-Claude Van Damme.
It did in the 80s in Bloodsport.
See, I've seen Bloodsport, and I still didn't think it looked like him. But it's been a while since I've seen that movie, so maybe it does.